she actually stole. Wow, look at this! I can do anything with it. Oh, they got you coming and going, man. You know what I mean? You try and you try and you give it an all.
When Melania Trump was told to dress like a goth Al Capone for a ceremony, late-night TV found comedy gold. Jimmy Kimmel and Jim Carrey didn't just laugh, they turned it into a masterclass on the weirdness of the Trump marriage. From describing Melania's icy stares to joking about her book smelling like Slovenian prenup ink, the comedians left no stone unturned. And boy oh boy did Trump lose his mind afterward. Here's what happened when two comedy legends decided to poke the presidential bear. Quick favor before we move on. If you appreciate this content, consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 92% of viewers haven't subscribed yet. It's free and only takes a second, but it means the world to us. So did you subscribe already? Great, thank you so much for your support. Now back to the video. The comedy gloves came off when Jim Carrey stepped onto Jimmy Kimmel Live, armed with a one-liner that set the audience roaring, "Trump is toast." But this wasn't just another celebrity taking a casual swing at the former president. Carrey delivered his comedic knockout with the precision of someone who'd been waiting for this moment his entire career.
So where I used to sit in my room, Trump is toast. That we're not the same country, that there's two countries. There's not two countries. I can break bread with anybody in this country.
While your average comedian might tiptoe around political jokes, Carrey bulldozed straight through the caution tape. He compared Trump's leadership style to a toddler playing with nuclear codes, complete with Carrey's signature rubber-faced impression that had the audience doubling over. It's like watching someone try to fly a plane after only playing Microsoft Flight Simulator, Carrey quipped as Kimmel nearly fell off his chair laughing. Not to be outdone, Kimmel jumped in with his own technological metaphor, suggesting America under Trump was like that old Windows computer that keeps freezing up until you finally have to unplug it and hope it restarts properly.
If anything, we've got to get back to a place where we realize that a vote is not who you are. And if you can't vote for a Democrat, at least let all this flood of information that's so negative.
The audience ate it up as Kimmel pantomimed desperately hitting Control-Alt-Delete on America itself. The comedic duo took particular delight in Trump's contradictory statements about potential mass layoffs. Kimmel had the crowd howling when he mocked Trump's delivery. He talks about firing thousands of Americans with the same enthusiasm as ordering toppings at Domino's. We'll get rid of the Department of Education, energy, and maybe throw in some breadsticks. But what really got under Trump's orange skin was Carrey's deadly serious moment amid the laughter.
It's a stress reliever.
And here we have...
That's Space Force.
That's the Space Force, yeah.
That's the beginning of Space Force.
I'm glad some good is coming out of this stuff. This is Robert Mueller.
Robert Mueller putting the squeeze on the president. You can make a bad decision about a candidate. It's not who you are. It doesn't mean you're dumb.
He's normalized division, dishonesty, and hate, Carrey said, his voice dropping to emphasize each word. His entire presidency was built on ego and denial. The studio went silent for a beat before erupting in applause. Then the comedians turned their attention to the Trump marriage, with Kimmel rolling footage of Melania descending staircases at various events. Look at that, it's like watching the Terminator try to appear human, Kimmel joked as the audience gasped and giggled.
You know, and because you voted Republican, you're not stupid, you're not different, you're not worthless. It has to do with, it's become obvious that the choice was a bad one, we just need to change it.
That's not walking, that's executing a military precision drill. The comedy reached its peak when they dissected Melania's unusual fashion choices. Remember when she showed up to that memorial looking like a goth Al Capone? Kimmel asked, showing a photo that had the audience rolling. Who's her fashion consultant? The Addams Family. In perhaps the most cutting moment, Kimmel held up Melania's memoir, pretending to sniff it. Smells like Slovenian prenup ink. The audience both groaned and laughed, recognizing the brutal implication about the transactional nature of the Trump marriage.
You know, I could break bread with anybody who voted for Trump. We could find some common ground to love each other through. Is a is a rabid dog, and it's turning us upside down. And all, you know, as far as I'm concerned, it's as obvious as the nose on your face.
While Melania's memoir was still collecting awkward laughs in the studio, Mar-a-Lago was about to witness a presidential meltdown of historic proportions. When most politicians would shrug off late-night mockery, Trump instead handed these comedians even more ammunition by having the tantrum of the century and accidentally proving their every point about his leadership style. The former president has never been one to take criticism lying down, but even his long-suffering staffers were shocked by the intensity of his reaction to Carrey and Kimmel's comedy routine. One aide reportedly muttered, "Here we go again," before desperately trying to pry the phone from Trump's rage-typing fingers. But it was too late. The damage control team was already suiting up for another round of what did he tweet now?
She actually stole, wow, look at this, I can do anything with it. Well, they got you coming and going, man, you know what I mean? You try and you try and you give it an all.
Instead of letting the jokes fade into the 24-hour news cycle like literally every other president in modern history, Trump made sure everyone in America heard about the comedy segment by amplifying it through his volcanic reaction. Nothing ensures a YouTube clip goes viral quite like presidential outrage. The breaking point came when Trump spotted a particular photo of himself that Kimmel had used during the segment. Trump immediately fired off complaints about the horrible picture, which Kimmel pounced on with delicious sarcasm. "If you can hit a golf ball, you've got my vote." The comedian effectively transformed Trump's anger into fresh comedy gold, mining the meltdown for even more laughs. Behind the scenes, the White House communications team scrambled to contain the fallout, but their contradictory statements only reinforced everything the comedians had said about the administration's chaotic nature. One spokesperson would deny Trump was upset, while another would defend his right to be angry, sometimes within the same hour. The social media tirade that followed was exactly the kind of self-own that comedians dream about. Trump attacked both Kimmel and Carrey as unfunny hacks in posts riddled with misspellings and all-caps rage, perfectly demonstrating the ego-driven leadership style Carrey had just finished roasting. Nothing says, "I'm totally not bothered," like a 3 a.m. tweet storm with the caps lock stuck. What Trump never understood was that his reactions created a beautiful feedback loop. The more he melted down, the more people watched the comedy segments, and the more fodder comedians had for their next routines. His marriage, leadership style, and thin skin all became fair game in a comedy war he couldn't possibly win. And that's the thing about comedy and politics. It's not just about getting laughs. When Carrey and Kimmel took their shots at Trump, they were doing something psychologists actually recognize as therapeutic. Their satire transformed our collective frustration into something we could process through laughter. It's like political medicine delivered with a spoonful of comedy sugar. The audience doesn't just passively watch, they actively participate in the comedic takedown, finding relief in the shared experience. In this bizarre political era, sometimes the most powerful commentary arrives with a punchline instead of a protest sign. Laughter becomes our way of taking back control from the chaos.